sports fans, and welcome to the Weekend Eve. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW. 816-599-6893 is the phone number if you want to call in. And I can't hear anymore because of that. But for the first time in several weeks, because he's been playing ball down in the winter leagues in Florida and Arizona, my brother with another mother, Darwin Penny, Coach 24. How are you doing this evening?
We're doing great. We're glad and excited to be able to come and participate in the show today, and happy opening day.
Absolutely. And behind the scenes running the show, DJ Scatter, George Walker. Mr. Walker, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm enjoying the sunshine.
Absolutely. And it was beautiful today. It's been cold the last several days. And I am Brian Cress, the awesome voice. And today was the opening day of Major League Baseball. And Coach 24 was out there.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable and electric crowd, which talks about the excitement that our fans here in Kansas City have for the 2024 Royals and the potential to improve certainly on last year's 56 win season, but to get out of the brinks of consecutive 100 lost seasons. And so there was an opening day crowd of 38,700. I mean, you could look beyond the fountains and see people just standing room only out there. It was a great sea of blue, just a great place to be today. We had great weather, unlike a couple of my other previous opening days. This is my 8th opening day with the Royals. And so, but I can certainly remember opening day 2018 against the White Sox when it was just frigid out there, and then last year wasn't much better.
No.
So it was very cold. But today was a beautiful day to play baseball, and it also was a bit of a reminder of me of my first opening day of 2017, and we had to stop and honor Yordano Ventura on opening day 2017, where Ace was not out there with his comrades as he had lost his life in an automobile accident, but his mother and his brothers were there to throw out the first pitch. And Eric Hosmer gave great testimony of his teammate, who he had not only played with in the major leagues, but had played with him in the minor leagues as well. And so there's a lot of memories, and there's a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of excitement with opening day, but ultimately you do get out there and play a game.
Absolutely. And like you said, it was electric, and I was watching it on TV at not at the stadium, but I was still a big fan. And Cole Reagans totally lit it up. He had a record 9 strikeouts in 6 innings, so he pitched really well. And he pitched deep into the game, because normally after a first game you don't pitch a lot of innings because it's the beginning and everything. But he had almost 100 pitches. He had 9 strikeouts, which broke the record set by Wally Bunker in 1970 and Danny Duffy in 2017, which they had 8. Cole Reagans had 9. But what did you see in his performance?
Well, I saw a guy that was aggressive on the mound, getting some light contact, other than giving up first inning home run and then giving up another run, courtesy of a Carlos Correa double in the 3rd inning. But a guy who was still very, very much in control of what he was doing. He looked like a bona fide number 1 pitcher out there. The thing that was Pedro Lopez was probably a half tick better today, and he kept our hitters off balance and didn't give them good pitches to hit, and gave them 7 innings as he went deep in the game as well. But he was very, very efficient. But I thought Cole Reagans mixed his pitches well, was aggressive. He was topping out at about 98 miles an hour, throwing an 86 mile an hour changeup, throwing a 93 mile an hour cutter. And so he gave us an opportunity. If you say that every time he goes out on the mound and he gives us 6 innings and gives up 5 hits and 2 runs, I'd take that. I'd take that, right? That's going to give us an opportunity to win a lot of ball games. Offensively, we've got to do more. I mean, the season started off with a bang with Miguel Garcia, hitting a home run to get things started off, right? And so, you know, but we've got to figure out a way to scratch for runs. And like I said, I had an opportunity to watch Pablo Lopez all spring and watch him throw 2 or 3 times there. And this guy is a budding superstar, and he's a bona fide number 1 for them. And so overall, just really excited with what we saw with Cole Reagans today. He's going to stop a lot of losing streaks for us by being that bona fide number 1 guy.
Absolutely. I was impressed with his performance. And Garcia was the first Royal to lead off with a home run since 1984. Onyx Concepcion did it against the New York Yankees, which, yes, that was a good thing, and Ron Guidry. So it had been a minute or two. We were in our senior year of high school. That should tell you something.
Yeah, the fact that you said Onyx Concepcion, I was like, wow, we went back a ways on that one.
Yep, absolutely. So, and ironically, he was the guy that replaced UL Washington.
Yes.
Because he was the starting shortstop since '77, and then he came in, and so there was a lot of changes there. But I feel last year it was a bad year. They won only 56 games. I think that they can win easily 20 more games than they did last year. But even if the pitching is as good as it is, if you don't get that timely hitting, which the Royals were, I believe, 0 for 4 in RISP, which is runners in scoring position,
yes,
then you are not going to win very many games. But, hey, it's the first game, and they actually had won the last 2 opening days. So maybe there's a trend that it will get better.
Well, I think the main thing is what we're trying to see is hoping that we get off to a good start. We have not been very good in April in the last 8 years. We just really haven't been good in April. We've been better in May and June than we have been in April, but in March, and we just cannot afford to get off to a slow start. And so hopefully the truck that made its way from Arizona to Kansas City brought our hits with it in those bat bags,
Yep.
and so that we'll get out and we'll do a great job and just give ourselves a chance to play 500 the first month or 2 of the season until some of these guys get their legs up under us, and give us an opportunity to be in the hunt, because the last thing you want to be is where we have found ourselves in some of our most recent years, is out of it at the All-Star break, and we don't want to be that. We want to still be in contention, and so that these young guys can play somewhat similar to what they played down the stretch last year. And so Miguel, I think, is going to be a catalyst for us at the top of the lineup. He had a great winter ball. He hit almost 400 in winter ball, and he carried it over into spring training and then got off to a good start today. I think that he is growing into a player who's now confident that he belongs in the major leagues. There's no more second guessing. Is he a major leaguer or not? We know that he belongs in the major league now. Can he establish himself and be entrenched in that lineup every day at third base and be a positive impact on the lineup by leading at the top of the order and getting on base and even stealing some bases and giving opportunity for Witt and Salvi and Vinny to drive him home.
Absolutely. And unlike last year, and actually I would say the last 2 years, we really haven't had what you call a major lineup, major league lineup. This year we do. We got Hunter Renfroe. We've got other players that we have brought in and to make a big difference. We got Waka that's going to the pitch for us either Saturday or Sunday, and Luco. So I am more positive about this season than I have in the last several years. So this is just one game. There's 161 more, but we got to get it going. And I don't think since 2018 we have been 10 games under 500. I mean, we have been worse than that. And as you said, we need to improve. We need to have a great start because we always seem to do well at the end, but when it doesn't matter. So let's start well in the beginning, and then at the end, it will matter, and then we have a shot at the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think, again, we can't echo it enough to give ourselves an opportunity to go out and be successful. But I believe with the balance of young players that we have and the veteran, hopefully, leadership that we've brought in, and guys like Waka, Lugo, Hunter Renfro, Smith in the bullpen, that will give us an opportunity to start to gel. Also, with our manager, Matt Quattaro, he's a second-year manager. How will he make adjustments this year to give himself the opportunity in those close games to impact those games by the decision that he makes when he goes to the bullpen, or does he allow his pitcher to go a little bit deep? Sometimes just managing with that gut feeling, not necessarily based on statistical data or matchups or anything, but just a gut feeling, and I'm going to give my guy an opportunity to go out there and compete and get himself a win. And so, yeah, we are struggling with that. When you look at our records over the last couple of years, the only year that we were close to 500 really was the COVID year, right? So the COVID year, we wound up with a record of 26-34. So we were close to 500. Certainly not in playoff contention, but we were close to 500. Then you have to go all the way back to 2017 when we were
Two games
80 and 82, yeah. And in the 2016 we were 81 and 81, following the World Series victory in 2015. So there's a lot of baseball left. Even in a loss today, it was a 2-1 game until obviously Minnesota scored 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth. And so we got to find a way to get better, and we cannot go into a long losing streak early,
Right.
because I just think that would make people tend to overreact, and so we can't be one way or the other. We want to try to find that even keel that gives us an opportunity. But I think one of the keys for us is going to be is we've somehow got to get in a running game going. But I'm concerned about where we'll be able to generate that running game from. Certainly with the first 2 guys, and then can we create something at the bottom of the order?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the first 2 can run, but the second 2 can hit it out of the park, but they can't run very well. And today they hit into several double plays, which killed a lot of rallies, and you can't do that either. So that's when the speed is supposed to be implemented, and it didn't. So, but saying this, I will say this, that they're going to need to win the next 2 games. If they can win the next 2 games and win the series, hey, we're okay. But the one thing we cannot do is get swept this weekend.
No. Right now is the time for us also to get on the Twins. The Twins bullpen right now is where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 3 of their bullpen guys that are hurt right now, especially Duran, their all-star closer. And so right now is the time where you want to try to challenge that bullpen with some guys with some inexperience there, and give ourselves an opportunity to win a game, And so, but I would agree, the goal is to win series, right? It's nice to win games, but if you win series, then you wind up winning games.
Right.
And so it's going to be important if we can certainly get this opening series and then try to build off of that. But it's just a great day, opening day all over Major League Baseball, not just here in Kansas City, but all over.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my Padres, who are my second favorite team, they ended up winning today. Mike Trout hit a home run, but Orioles ended up beating the Angels 11-3. The Pirates and Marlins are in extra innings right now at 5-5, and the Yankees are beating the Astros, and it looks like, if I'm seeing this right, it says the end of 9. So it tells me that the Yankees ended up beating the Astros. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a headline that said Juan Soto, who had been playing for the Padres the last couple of years, threw out a Astro runner at the plate to keep them from tying the game. So,
Wow.
so there's some excitement going on.
Yeah, there's some really good lineups in Major League Baseball. Obviously, the Dodgers beating the Cardinals today. The Dodgers lineup is going to be really difficult for teams to match up with in the National League. Certainly, other than the Braves, when you look at the Braves lineup, it's pretty well developed. But the Dodgers, when you have 3 MVPs, in your lineup with an Ohtani, with a Mookie Betts, with a Freddie Freeman, that makes it a very difficult lineup to beat. And then when you look at what the Orioles have in their young talent there, and they left a great young talent in the minors this year in Jackson Holiday. This young man was just unbelievable in spring training this year, and the opportunity that he's going to bring. But they decided to give him a little more seasoning down in the minor leagues instead of allowing him to be a 20-year-old opening on opening day. So Baltimore is going to be an exciting team to watch also this year.
Absolutely. So we've got baseball going, and we actually have a lot of stuff going on. We do have guests coming in. They had actually showed up. I know that they were probably in the middle of that traffic jam that was on I-70 where Royal Stadium, or I should say Kauffman Stadium, was at. And they've got something going on next weekend. But then this weekend, well, actually, it's not this weekend. It just ended yesterday that we had the NAIA, and we had 2 teams that had never played for the championship game, which was Langston University and Friedman Hardman University, and they played a great game. And so it looks like that Freeman won the game 71-67, backed up by a guy named Devin Tomlinson, who went to Blue Springs South High School. Now, my guess that's over on my left shoulder, is he going to Blue Springs South, or is it Blue Springs?
Blue Springs.
Ah, so we don't know if he knows him or not. So.
All right. Well, that's pretty a great tournament. The NAIA tournament has been here in Kansas City for a long time. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I actually got to present the first basketball at that tournament.
Really?
Back in 2018. So
That's awesome.
It was pretty special, and I got to be a guest coach and sit on the bench and everything. So I was going back to my old high school basketball coaching days. They wouldn't let me draw up any plays.
They wouldn't let you even hold the clipboard, would they?
No, I'd have broke it. I broke a couple when I was coaching high school basketball.
Oh no!
So anyway, but it is an outstanding tournament. For those who are unfamiliar with the NAIA tournament, the NAIA is the National Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Smaller private schools that play in that. It would. We have in the NCAA, we have Division I, we have Division II, we have Division III, but NAIA falls right in there between Division II and Division III. A lot of our Division III schools at one time were NAIA schools before they went over to NCAA Division III, and so we've got a lot of local NAIA teams and schools that play a multiplicity of sports, Baker University being one, and so it's good to see those kids out there. Great to hear Langston. I know Langston down in Oklahoma as a HBCU. They're in Oklahoma, and so congratulations to them for making the tournament and getting all the way to the final game. But I would encourage people who are listening to us next year when that tournament comes to town, take out some time and go watch a good brand of basketball. You probably won't see the 7-footers, but you'll see some kids that you won't ever see in an NBA uniform, but some guys that give their all to go out there and play the game, play it well, coached very well, and it's an exciting opportunity to go out and watch some good college basketball.
Absolutely. And then the week before, we had the NCAA Wrestling Championships, which was the first time in Kansas City since 2003. And Penn State just totally just rolled over everybody with a record 172.5 points, which broke the Iowa record from like 1977 and Dan Gable, which is the legend in wrestling. Missouri was tied for 11th with two other teams with, I believe it was like 49.5 points. But I'm just saying, this was a great month to be in Kansas City with all the extravagance and events going on. You had Kansas City winning the Super Bowl and the parade. And, now we got Royals going. And we still have next week, we do have the voting. And I get a lot of people have really spoke their opinions. So I'm just hoping that everybody goes out and votes. If you don't vote, I don't want to hear you complaining about if it got passed or if it didn't get passed, because that is pretty much the main objective on this voting, is that the stadium. And a lot of people are going, well, we don't want Royal Stadium or Kauffman Stadium to go. It doesn't matter if it passes, yes or no. It will go. The problem is if you don't pass it, Royals could, and I don't think it will happen, but they could always look for another city who would love to have a Major League Baseball team.
Well, I'm going to share a little bit of insider trader information. Can't move the team.
Well, there you go.
Can't move the team. Okay. That was always part of the original ownership's request, Mr. Kauffman, is that you would not relocate the Royals.
Right.
And so part of that, if you remember in the early 90s, where the Royals didn't have an owner, but actually was run by a group,
right,
and everything. And so, but one of the things is they were looking for the right person who would, abide by the wishes of Ewing Kauffman, and that it would stay here in Kansas City. Kansas City had already suffered losing the A's
right
to Oakland. And so Ewing Kauffman was a great philanthropist, and he was a great people person, and he was a great community and civic leader. And it wasn't so much that he was a great baseball fan, but he was a lover of the city, and that was his gift to Kansas City, was being able to, 1 year after losing the team, being able to get an expansion franchise here in Kansas City. And so that's going to always be part of when you sell the Royals to any potential buyer, is that team has to stay here. Now, whether it stays in Jackson County or not, that's a whole nother story. Right. And so we know that it could be courted by any one of the other 4 counties besides Jackson County here. And so, but we wanted to remain in Jackson County, and for people who may see themselves as impeding progress, right? All of our great stadiums, besides 4, have gone down, right? The house that Ruth built, Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they built a new Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so the Astros moved out of the 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome, right?
Yep.
So they're still called the Astros, but they play in Minute Maid, Park.
Right.
We still have Fenway.
Yep.
Right? We still have Wrigley.
Right.
Okay? And then the next oldest stadium that we're looking at is Dodger Stadium.
Right.
Right. And then who comes after that?
Well, actually, it's the Oakland A's Coliseum. But if they move to
Vegas, they're after Dodgers.
Right.
Right.
And then right after that is Kansas City.
It's Kansas City.
Yep.
Right.
We have the 5th oldest stadium.
Right. And so think about this. The Texas Rangers moved from being the Washington Senators in 1972. They built 3 stadiums in the same amount of time that we still have 1 stadium.
Right.
And so there has to be, and it's regardless of the success of the team, But in order to move and to be able to accommodate the fans, the players, the staff, there comes a time when adjustments have to be made.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, you're going to stop patching Kauffman Stadium.
Right.
Right. And I'd say this to anybody who went to the Major League All-Star game in 2022 at Dodger Stadium. For as nostalgic as it is, Dodger Stadium is outdated right now. It's
Right.
outdated, right? Wrigley, all of its nostalgia, it's outdated. But they've made some improvements,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And then when you go to Fenway,
Mm-hmm.
it's outdated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And,
Yep.
and they've made renovations and things like that. But in corporate America,
Right.
we want boxes, we want luxury boxes, we want suites, we want all of these things that bring in additional revenues
Right.
to a club.
Right.
And so that's what a new stadium would give us, that opportunity to do that.
Right.
And then accessibility to the stadium. Okay. Those are going to be key components as we continue, moving forward. And so, I understand people and their love for it, and I still think it's one of the most beautiful stadiums in all of baseball. But at some point in time, there's going to be a change.
Absolutely. And, I am one of those people that balks at change. So I would say, okay, yeah, I love Kauffman Stadium. I love everything that has to do with it. But as a realist and me doing sports, I realize that things have to change. There were still people that when they tore down Municipal Stadium, the old Kansas City Royals Stadium where the Chiefs played and the actually the Royals did play for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted them to get rid of that, but it had to happen. And so this is over 50 years. It's not like Texas that built a stadium and 10, 12 years later they build a brand new stadium.
It's actually, so the ballpark at Arlington was actually older than you think it is, right? so the ballpark at Arlington, believe it or not, opened in 1995.
Oh, okay.
And then they opened up Globe Life Field in 2022.
Okay.
And so it was a little bit older, but less than 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And old Arlington Stadium had been there since 72.
Right.
Right. And so from 72 to 95, they
Right.
played in old Arlington Stadium. Right.
Right.
And so, but eventually, us Texas, this heat kind of wearing on you.
Yeah.
And so now they have a nice air conditioned retractable roof stadium
Absolutely.
to deal with the Texas heat. And so, but again, it's those things. Where's the Kingdome now?
Right. Oh, it's buried with Jimmy Hoffa.
So let's talk about even some of the stadiums that were built around the same time that Kauffman, because they were part of the cookie cutter age.
Let me see. Riverfront Stadium.
Riverfront, okay, Cincinnati, open around the same time.
Three Rivers.
Three Rivers opened around the same time. Okay, again, Arlington Stadium,
Yeah.
old Arlington there.
Right.
So none of those stadiums are around.
Right. And they haven't been around for a while now, Arlington, but that's the second one, not the first one. The first one's been gone a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were in our 30s at that time.
Right.
So, saying that change is, people make changes. I mean, look at Dallas Stadium. I remember driving by there when I was going home after getting off basic training in Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, and drove by and got to see that stadium, and people loved that stadium. Well, they turned around and tore that down and built what is now Jerry's World, Jerry's Stadium, and so it happens. And so eventually Fenway is going to go down, Wrigley is going to go down. I mean, and unfortunately, Mother Nature or Father Time is going to defeat them too eventually, and they last longer than players. And well, except for maybe Tom Brady. No, they got rid of Tom Brady too.
Yeah.
So we are at halftime on any given Sunday on KUAW. Coach 24, DJ Scatter, and myself, Awesome Voice. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our guests are going to come in, and I will introduce them to you when we get back. So we're going to take a quick break, and this is KUAW. All right, we're back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. 816-599-8693 is the phone number. And tonight we've got a couple of guests. They are from the boxing world. I've got Nasir Clinton and his father, Fletcher Clinton. Now, Nasir goes by Daddy-O, and Fletcher goes by Rip Ruger. So if you ever find him on Facebook, you have to go Rip Ruger. So I had to go back into my files to remember his name, because all I kept seeing was Rip Ruger. So, but next week, in fact, a week from today, Golden Gloves, and it's at Memorial Hall, which is over in KCK, just on the other side of state line. And it's $10 to get in to watch these.
Yes.
So, saying that, now, they just had rankings, and they got you in the 132-pound category. You are fourth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you are the only Missourian outside of Marcel Bond. Now, is he from Kansas City, or is he from the other side of Missouri?
St. Louis.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're the only one, at least in the 132 range.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, you are tied for fourth in the USA boxing rankings out of all boxers.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. So just give us a little synopsis of what you have been going through. So we had him on the show November of 2022. So what has been going on since then for you?
Nothing really, just been training up, trying to get stronger. So when I come back to fight, because I haven't fought in a while, so when I come back to fight, I'll be ready, stronger and faster.
Okay, so when was the last time you did fight?
I think it was in, like December, the end of December, beginning of January, for Silver Gloves regionals.
Oh, okay. So you have been in the Junior Olympics the last 3 years.
Yes, sir.
You have a gold medal in the 101-pound lightweight weight category.
Yes, sir.
And then in 2022, you won gold, but last year you took second place.
Yes, sir.
So, now who ended up beating you in that category?
Nolan Huntley.
Oh, now is he ranked higher than you?
Yeah, he was ranked number 1.
Oh, okay. And then you were ranked number 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, saying this, now you have been boxing half your life
Yes, sir.
due to your father's love for boxing.
Yeah.
So from the time that you've started to now, what have you learned and what have you changed in your philosophy of fighting from when you first started fighting?
But when I first started, I say I was kind of impatient and I wouldn't take my time and I was trying to rush things. But like now I'm learning to be more patient and use my skills for like to be better, calm and precise. Back then I was just reckless, just throwing whatever. Now sometimes my anger would get to me and I just crash out. So I'm getting better with controlling myself and my temper and doing things that I've been taught to do.
So was that part of the reason why you got into boxing? Was for the fact that, because from what your dad and I had talked about, that it kept you out of trouble.
Yes.
Or maybe it was your mom. Maybe it was the boss that said that. So to keep you out of trouble.
Yes, sir. Cause I was kind of a little reckless kid, trying to always punch something and stuff.
And aren't you the youngest of your siblings?
Yes, sir.
Well, of course. You're
All 9 of them.
all 9 of them. There you go. So.
Well, so one of the things I'd like to ask you is, one, because this is a sports show, have you ever played any other sports?
Yes, sir. I did football, wrestling, and I think that's it. Football and wrestling.
Baseball.
Yeah, and baseball
Okay, so
And basketball.
and basketball.
so how have those other sports helped you with your current sport of boxing?
Well, football. I started off with wrestling and like, cause I was really aggressive, and like I just like throwing people and stuff like that. So I started off with wrestling, and then I got into football, cause you know what I'm saying. I started off with flag football, and then like I got mad because I wasn't able to tackle anybody. So then my dad told me he was gonna put on the pads, and I got happy. And then from then, like with basketball and baseball, I really didn't like those sports. It was kind of like I say boring. I'll say boring because like you know what I'm saying. He's just dribbling the ball and trying to hit a ball and run. I used to get frustrated with being like that. So then, with boxing, I was going between boxing and football, and then like, as I started getting into more boxing, like more and more, I started to like, you know what I'm saying, lose the feeling for football, and I made up my mind. I told my dad like, I really want to do this, and I want to be great at it. So he was like, okay, and we buckled down just on boxing.
All right. So, any aspirations beyond Golden Gloves?
Yeah, I just say upcoming tournaments and stuff like that, and that's it really.
Right. Do you think about one day possibly being a professional boxer?
Yes, sir, I dream about it every day.
All right. Great. So, historically or current boxer, who is somebody that you either kind of like, emulate, or just find, find yourself researching about them?
I'll say Sugar Ray for sure, but like now Devin Haney and Brandon Lee. That's really all I'll be watching, cause I just like the way Devin Haney throws his jab and he uses it as an advantage, And then like with Brandon Lee, his skill is just amazing. I like the way he throw his punches and everything. It's beautiful.
So do you see yourself patterning your style to his style, or is you just admire his style and your style is unique in itself?
I feel I what you said, the second one, where I find his style just unique and stuff like that. Sometimes I try to imitate some of the things he do, but sometimes it don't work. But I still try.
Yeah, I think that's great because when you refer to Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, and what he was. As a matter of fact, today I was listening to a podcast talking to him and how he got started in boxing, and really wasn't something that he wanted to do, but his brother kept taking him to the gym, and eventually, obviously, Golden Gloves,
Yeah.
Olympian, and then ultimately. 6-time world champion in 5 different weight classes, and so just to be able to see like that, boxing has its own rich history. Boxing certainly takes up a lot of your time. Give us, if you could, take us into a day. What does a typical day for you getting prepared look like?
Typical day: wake up, go to school. I come home. I'll chill for maybe an hour and a half. Get to relax then, and then get ready. As soon as my dad pulls up, I'm out the door ready to go to the gym, put in work for about an hour and a half, maybe 2. And then we'll come back home, eat, rest, same thing again the next day.
Right. How important is your diet and your rest to your regimen?
Well, when it's time to lock in, for a tournament, maybe a month ahead, we'll start going on a diet. I'm about to go on a diet here April 1st.
Okay.
But maybe after a tournament, I have a little leeway to eat what I want, and then when it's time to lock in for another fight or a tournament, that's when I'll start cutting down and losing weight and eating healthy.
So, all right, and I'm gonna ask you probably 2 more questions before I turn it over to Brian. What is your normal weight, and then what is your fighting weight?
Okay, my normal weight, I walk right now, I'm probably 143, but I really walk around at 146. But I usually fight in between 132 and 138, but we're working to fight at 132 next tournament.
So saying this, are you going to be in the Golden Gloves next week?
Probably not. They be scared to fight me.
So
literally, to help him answer that question, though, they are not putting together the match bouts for Golden Gloves until this upcoming Saturday. Because Golden Gloves is mainly for kids that's 18 and older.
right.
So there's spurts. Right now, he can only do silver gloves, and then once you're 17 years old, you have a year of freedom, and then once you turn 18, it's Golden Gloves. So Golden Gloves is mainly for the kids that's 18 and older
Okay.
to go and fight for Kansas City if they make it, to go regional, and then if they make it past regional, I believe it's going to be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this year. I might be wrong, but I think it's somewhere on the East Coast this year. It's either going to be Detroit or Philly, somewhere up around in that area where the Nationals is going to be. But if he does fight, we won't find that out until Saturday when they do the match bouts, because they match kids up for show, in the meantime, interim matches before it get to the big guys who's fighting for Golden Gloves.
So let me ask you this. So the tournament is from the 4th to the 6th.
Yes,
Why
sir.
do they wait until April 1st to get the lineup?
Well, they basically have the lineup for the actual fighters who's fighting for Golden Gloves.
Okay.
Everybody else says, trust me, man, this is Kansas City. We have a good core of boxing gyms around here. It's a bunch of, good kids around here. And a lot of people signed up for it, man. I think they had over
I want to say
100
157.
Yeah, 157 odd entries. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as far as like the ones who actually gets matched up for Golden Gloves, who's attending Golden Gloves to go further, that's one thing. But the match bouts, that's those other maybe like 100 out of the 157. So they gotta find kids and be like, okay, maybe we could put this kid with this kid. You know what I'm saying, for a good match. This kid with that kid. You know, they do it by weight division. And they try to put on as many people as they can so that everybody could possibly get the opportunity to get the opportunity to fight at Municipal Auditorium, you know what I'm saying, to put them on that kind of stage. So
So at Memorial Hall,
Memorial Hall,
is
I'm
there
sorry.
going to be is there just going to be one ring? Is there going to be a multitude of rings? What is that going to?
There will only be one ring.
Okay, so they're going to start at 7 o'clock
Yes.
at night. So how are they going to be able to get all these matches? In,
A lot of these kids, a lot of them won't be getting matched up, and that's why I'm saying we won't know if he's actually going to be able to attend until Saturday. Once they do the match bouts or whatnot, they'll have everything in line and who's going to fight and who's ever going to be in what bracket, and then they'll stretch it out from like preliminaries to semis to basically like the championship fight. So everybody out of those 157, I guarantee you, that'll be chopped. That'll be chopped down like tremendously. There's not going to be like those many matches there. Each night you'll be lucky if you see like anywhere from like 15 to 20 fights. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
So give and take on that, 15 to 20, you're looking at like 40 people. And then it narrows down after those 40 fights. It gets smaller and smaller to the championship fights. So
Gotcha.
So, are you his primary trainer, or is there a group of people that work through training him?
no, sir. His primary trainer is Courtney Epperson for ATG Against the Grain, and we train out of Independence, Missouri, out of M&A Youth Athletics. It's otherwise known as City Life. It's like over in the area off of 23rd and Nolan Road in Independence. I'm learning as I go with him, and when he first started out, he was with Master Melvin Wesley, and from there, and that was out in Lenexa, Kansas. It started getting kind of strenuous on going from Blue Springs to Lenexa. 6 years of our life is just back and forth, wear and tear, like miles, hours, you know what I mean? So we just had to find somewhere closer. And once I left Melvin, because Melvin is like one of the better trainers in this region of the United States, I had to find somebody just as good. So, you know what I'm saying? Courtney was right there on that level. He was willing to help us out. And we got with him and like we skyrocketed like last year. He was the busiest kid in the city. And well, now let me go back on that. He was the busiest kid in this region of the United States last year. No kid in this region of the United States had 24 fights. He did. Turned out good for him, you know what I'm saying? We kind of like, his record was kind of bad, so we was trying to even it out. But, there's politics involved with this, even as, as young as he is, and, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to really go off into detail of that because, like, growing into this, man, it eats you up sometimes, man, when you see your kid work his butt off and then he'll go to a fight in a different state or something like that, and that be their Super Bowl. You don't see none of these kids at like the national tournaments or nothing like that grinding, but then they'll be like, okay, the number 3 kid in the nation, number 4 kid in the nation is coming through, and then they'll get there, and as long as that kid look like he's staying busy, they'll call it a split and give it to them, just be like, oh, we beat the number. It's so much involved in it, man, and it's like you gotta have tough skin. This is not. This sport right here, like, okay, you throughout Kansas City, you have little league baseball, football, basketball, but with this boxing, it's not for the weak, man. I mean, that's for the parents that's involved, the coaches, you know what I'm saying. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I tip my hat to people like, you know what I'm saying, Melvin and Courtney and and abroad, like all the coaches, man, because it's just like they see what these kids go through. They train these kids, man, and like it's almost like they're their parents sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because these are their children too. So, we just praying and punching, man, and we just trying to get in and make something out of it. We're trying to build him up to where he can actually grab a hold of something and like actually run with it. And since this is the sport that he chose, I was like, hey man, once we get into it, we're not about to half-ass, man. We're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it. If we're gonna get to spending money, going out of town, and buying this equipment and stuff like that, we're not gonna half-ass. We're gonna go all the way. So right now, it seemed like we're on the straight and narrow. We took a little mental break off for him. He was supposed to go to New Mexico to the National Opens in Albuquerque, New Mexico a couple of weeks ago, but he opted out. He said that, he wasn't there mentally, so I had to respect that as a father, because at the end of the day, I always tell him I'm his father first, I'm a fan second. If you want to stop and start eating caramel popcorn and get fat together, I'll do that because I love him. But, like, if he want to do it, I'm going to have his back, his mother's going to have his back. And we just going to, like, as long as God give us the ability to wake up every morning and keep doing it, man, we just going to keep doing it and see how far it takes us.
I certainly want to take my hat off and applaud you for doing that, because so many times in a number of sports we see that the parents become as much or more ingrained in it than the actual participants, and it becomes them through and to say we've poured in all this time, all this effort, but for you to say you my son first, and if we need to back off right now, we can back off, and,
Yes.
and so my hat goes off to you in this situation. Here's where I'm going to ask you, Daddy-O, where do you find the drive? Because historically, the great boxers have not come from environments like you have, where there's two parents that are involved. There's usually a lot of poverty like that. When I look at you, and I'm certainly not judging anybody's pockets, I don't see poverty. And so where do you find your drive in this sport?
Well, we're not poor, but we also don't have a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I really come from a house not like with a lot of money, but we have a lot of love. So, I feel like, I want to be the one to, like, break that curse of us not really having nothing. And, like, I want to be great and provide my family with the things, like, they always wanted to have and needed. So, I just really find the passion for it and the love that my family has for me, and they believe in me, like, a lot. So that really keeps me going, and it makes me feel good in myself. So
That's outstanding.
I totally agree with that. And I love your sweatshirt. God first, then money. And
Shout out Mississippi the Truth.
there you go. And you know what orange is? Aren't you glad it's Thursday?
yeah, it's my favorite color.
Yeah, there you go. So, saying that, what is your short-term goal? So if you, let's just say you skip Golden Gloves, what is your next goal to attain?
April 27th.
Which is?
It's where's that fight at?
It's in Wichita, Kansas. It's a smoker Alley Cat Boxing and
Yeah,
Starter Tournament.
This kid hit me up in my inbox one time and tried to call me out.
It's funny.
So, like, yeah, and we didn't get to fight the last time we were supposed to fight, but, like, this time I'm gonna make sure we fight. I'm gonna try to hurt him because he was in my inbox talking a lot of trash.
So how much trash talk is there in boxing? Like
A lot. Ooh, a lot.
It's not just on the mainstream, bro. When you use the word emulating a minute ago, like, these other kids. You got kids from Vegas, Philly, Texas, California, Colorado. I'm talking about this sport. Even with youngsters, man, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of cobras, hyenas, lions, and gorillas out there, bro. And they see these people on TV, on a big stage, arguing and wanting to, get at each other. So when they come to these kids, they do it too, man. They have face-offs at tournaments, be like, yeah, you got to see me tomorrow night. You got to see me tomorrow night. And I'm standing there, and I'm just like, man, this is... man. This what's up. You know, it's yeah.
I know, but like me personally, like, cause my dad feels like I should kind of be on like the same type of energy a little bit, like with them, but like I really don't like going back and forth with people. I just want to I just be like if somebody was to like really like come into my face talking about like, yeah, you guys see them and all that, I probably just be like, okay, we gonna see tomorrow, and I'm gonna leave that alone, cause we really gonna see tomorrow. Like you talking right now, but like once we get in the ring, it's game over. I promise you.
Absolutely. I like that. Is I'm gonna allow my hands to do the talking.
Yeah.
Right when I get there. Right. And so
That part.
there's only a few guys truly that have been able to talk and back it up when it comes to boxing and everything. And so, and some of the most menacing boxers have been guys that didn't say very much. Right. And so, yeah, I love that approach. But we are also in an era of self-promotion, and I know people are trying to get likes and trying to get clicks and trying to get followers and trying to get sponsors and everything else to showcase. But eventually, when we get in the ring, you know, all that talk is cheap and the action speaks. So,
Yeah.
when you look at boxing, and then also you are a student, so you are a student athlete, right? Do you think about going to college?
Yeah, my mom want me to go to college. I want to go to college too. I just gotta figure out what I would want to do when I go there, cause like, man, I ain't gonna cap. Like, I be into school, but then like I just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go boxing, but I just don't be thinking about like what I'm gonna do after that. Like once I'm done, so I'm just trying to figure that part out right now, like what I would want to go to college for. But she said she think she wants me to go into the medical field, and I was like, okay.
Mama no, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it where you can understand it. Bitness, right? Bitness, right? But be a finance major, man. So when you make all that money, nobody can take your money.
Nobody can take that
Right.
money away, man. Get your numbers right.
That's
Get
right.
your numbers don't lie, man.
Absolutely, because as a former professional athlete myself, no matter how gifted and talented you are, one day you're no longer a boxer, or one day you're no longer a baseball player or a football player. And so the investment that we make into ourselves as individuals, what is that next career going to look like? And certainly education gives us an opportunity to open up doors. But yeah, finance, that's a great major,
There you
man.
go.
You take care of your own money.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you understand interest rates and all those things, and then when people start trying to get you for all of these accessories, you can say, right? The fewer people you have around you, the more money you get to take home.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I appreciate you pushing that line.
Hey,
So,
I'll just
you know what I'm
well,
saying?
if you need to see a story, see Mike Tyson's story,
Yeah.
because he was used and abused, and he was the baddest man on the planet.
Oh, trust me, I heard.
Still is.
But
I heard his story a lot.
And this is another thing I would encourage you to emulate Ray Leonard on.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Leonard, you know, when he won the Olympic medal, he thought that was it for him. But because they were in some financial needs with his dad's health and thing, sent him there. But he got a great financial planner, and he was his own promoter. And he said he got great wisdom from Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
who told him, keep your own money. Right? Because unfortunately, if you know Ali's story, early in his career, a lot of his money was taken by a multiplicity of people. And so, again, I would just encourage you, count your own dollars.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then, obviously, there are some people who may help you with investments, things like that. But you can hold them accountable when you know it for yourself.
Yes, sir. I noticed a little bit I was talking about earlier, where like when you was asking me who I emulate like back then and now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Honorable mention, because he was kinda hanging with Sugar Ray, Roberto Duran. He got go.
Fist of Stone, Roberto Duran. Especially when I hear you talk about having an aggressive style. Roberto Duran was very, very aggressive. And then when you look at him, but he fought out of anger and out of poverty, right?
Yeah,
Where
poverty,
when you look at him from Panama and what he was able to do, but multiple levels of weight classes, and you know, when you go back to the first Leonard Duran fight,
Yeah.
you know, he beat him,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he made Ray fight his fight. The second fight, Ray was able to get him to fight his fight,
His
right?
fight.
And Styles, right? And we know that
Yeah.
about boxing.
Styles
Styles
make
make fights, right?
Styles make fights.
Styles make
And
fights.
then after that, like I just remember this too. Like another boxer that I like really be emulating a lot is Boots Enos. I love his style. Just his footwork is just so crazy. I be trying to do everything he do.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna throw one out there for you, my man down there whooping up on folks, Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
Oh.
T Bud.
Oh
Yeah,
It's a-
Bud Crawford on them boys.
You know.
It's a lot of people in Nebraska when they see him fighting in Nebraska. They're like, you know, you remind me of Terrence Bud
Cause I
Crawford.
can switch up.
Like, I mean, I see it, but I don't. But like, you know, that's just I feel like that's just a way of saying like he's good
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying they know they got a boy in Nebraska that's good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, his last fight, I was just like, wow, he might be pound for pound the best fighter.
I got to see it again. I know that he can do it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want to see it again.
Absolutely, consistency is always the key,
Yes,
right?
to where like you know what I'm saying. Then everybody will know like, okay, this is not a fluke. He beat Earl like that, and then he, you know what I'm saying, get on. I really wanted to see him move up in weight
Yes.
to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see that. I know it's not gonna happen, but I really wanted to see that. That was eating at my soul. I was just like, if he go up there and get Canelo, because Canelo is Canelo.
He
Now
real.
you go
He
up to
real.
his weight and
Most
you
paid
whoop him,
boxer.
can't nobody say nothing to T Bud ever
That's
again.
right. And to me, that's what I miss from the boxers of the 70s and the 80s
Mm-hmm.
is nobody ducked anybody.
No.
Nobody.
No.
We come in
There's a lot of it now.
right. But now it's well because you got so many weight classes and
Right.
broken weight classes.
You got it in amateur boxing too, not just
Absolutely.
pro. You got it
Right.
ducking in amateurs.
And so there's opportunity, right? And I heard you earlier what you were talking about how people try to craft people's route to that ultimate place, but along the way, somewhere along the way, you're gonna have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
You can't duck everybody forever,
Right.
right? So you
Absolutely.
find like that. So
So, last thing, you're looking at us and you're looking at the audience. What would you like to say to them?
Well, if y'all all supporting me, thank y'all for supporting me and being there along the way with me doing things. And that's really it. I just want to thank y'all. Like, thank y'all very much for, you know what I'm saying, rocking with me.
And be patient. We got him under construction right now. We working on some things, and we're gonna get with his coach, Courtney. Thank you. Everybody else that's done helped us along the way. Thank you. You know what I'm saying, to our team, ATG.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Thank you to Jamel. He be getting me strong. He be
Yeah,
getting
thank
me
you
real
to
strong.
Jamel Sims at the Tough Club.
Getting
You
me real
know,
strong.
like we
My
and
back hurting right now.
we just letting y'all know, like, this is going out. These are the people. If they watching or if they ever get a hold of this, we just want to say thank you more
Yes,
than
sir.
anything.
Well,
Just be patient with us, and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna try to come out strong for the rest of 2024.
Absolutely, and I enjoy having you guys on the show, so I appreciate you coming on to our show. But the best segment of the show is Penny for Your Thoughts.
yeah, today Penny for Your Thoughts is twofold for me. Earlier this week, I lost somebody very, very dear to me. My father-in-law, Victor Rodriguez, who was a Purple Heart, 2 Purple Hearts Vietnam, which also made me realize that there were also athletes who were Purple Heart recipients. And so today we want to celebrate 3 in particular who won Purple Hearts. Rocky Bleier, everybody remembers Rocky Bleier from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who his was so devastating, the shrapnel that was left in his foot. They had to amputate part of his foot, but yet he made it back to professional football and was an important cog in the Steelers' 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. Warren Spahn, who winningest lefty in Major League Baseball history, was awarded a Purple Heart in World War II. And then certainly last but not least, another football player who we remember who not only won a Purple Heart but eventually gave his life, Pat Tillman, the outstanding safety for the Arizona Cardinals, who turned down a lucrative contract to go and serve his country. And so, with that, we salute the athletes who not only gave their lives like Pat Tillman, but those who were wounded in action and gained one of the highest medals that you could get in military services, the Purple Heart. So Rocky Blau, Warren Spahn, and Pat Tillman, we tip our hats to you.
Absolutely. And that is a great penny for your thoughts. And it's always the best segment. If we had an award for this, they have them in ESPN and all them. This would get an award.
Right.
Absolutely. So we are at the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Mr. Walker, George, DJ Scatter, George Walker running the show for us. My brother with another mother, Coach 24D, Darwin Penny, and I'm losing it right now. So I've got Nassar, Daddy-O Clinton,
Yes, sir.
and Fletcher Rip Ruger Clinton. Thank you for coming on to the show. And
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And I am Brian Cress, the awesome voice. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a phenomenal sports weekend.